You can't go to Chernobyl and not re-examine your core beliefs about nuclear power. I mean, you would have to be really thick-headed and not to look at that and look at the damage that was done and say, all right, when it goes wrong, you know, we know that we do everything we can to make it go right, but when it goes wrong, it can go really very wrong indeed. Chernobyl was a real-world experiment of what happens when you irradiate a very large population. But 1986 was a long time ago, so we've got the perspective and the distance to be able to assess what the real impacts of that were. And they're nothing like what was expected. The reactor that exploded in Chernobyl in April 1986 was actually reactor number 4 of a whole set of them. No one really realizes it. The 3 other units, which are in the same building, carried on operating and generating electricity right up until the mid-90s. And people just went to work there every day. Isn't that amazing?
Outside of the old Soviet Union, we didn't use the reactor design that Chernobyl had. Among other things, the Chernobyl reactor had no containment building. It was in virtually a Quonset hut. So when there was a fire and an explosion, there was nothing to contain it.
Chernobyl was a different kind of reactor. It was inherently unsafe. It was primarily designed to make plutonium for bombs. No Chernobyl-style reactors were ever built in the West. But if you could then point to other nuclear power stations and say each of those could be a Chernobyl, then you've got a pretty powerful argument against nuclear power. The city nearby called Pripyat, the entire place was evacuated when Chernobyl blew up. It's just fascinating to see some place which is frozen in time at the very end of the era of the Soviet Union. It's an extraordinary place. I really can't even describe it. It's a bit like the Fukushima thing in the sense that you're tramping around on this debris of broken glass and broken everything, and it's almost as if the explosion at Chernobyl had somehow caused this. But of course it didn't, it's just the decay of time and things have been broken. Obviously, what people are concerned about with Chernobyl is the radioactivity. I never knew until I went to Chernobyl that there were places full of people who've just decided to ignore the restrictions and just move back to their houses. And you can go to this old church and you can meet them.
Let's ask him when and why did he decide to come back, and how many people came with him?
А когда именно вы решили переселиться назад, и сколько людей приехали с вами? Как люди возвращались, как вы вернулись?
Конечно же, мы с Чернобыля, с нашего Чернобыля родного, что тут у нас действительно, мы веками, наши, как говорится, и предки жили в этом Чернобыле. Мы, конечно, никто не хотел отсюда уезжать. Весной уже начали приезжать. Конечно, никто нас здесь не пускал. Мы приезжали лесом, приходили тропками всякими. По одному, по два, по три человека приходили в свои дома и заселялись. Посмотрите, прошло 25 лет. Я 25 лет тут в Чернобыле нахожусь. Видите, я здоров, жив-здоров. И вот и люди, которые вот вернулись, никто с этих людей не умер от рака, от каких-то других заболеваний, которые здесь живут.